you're not still getting asked the question, though.
What?
Are you still doing comedy?
Are you still doing comedy?
Are you still
doing? What are you up to?
What are you doing now?
What are you doing now? What do you do?
Is that,
I just go to comedy. Yeah.
You overseas now? Is that where you are?
I always get. So are you? No, it's more like, are you? You're living here? I'm like, no, I don't live here. I'm just. Oh, cool. How long have you been in London? 4 years. I've been away for 4 years.
Hi and welcome to Eating Fried Chicken in the Shower with me, James Nokise, and today I am joined by comedian, writer, actor, podcaster.
Yeah.
Amateur musician.
Yeah, ish.
Yeah,
ish.
I've heard you picking up the uke.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Oh yes, I do. I have picked up the uke. I forgot it. I left it at home. I was supposed to bring it.
Are we going to bring it?
I was going to bring it.
We'll improvise.
Yeah.
Rose Matafeo.
Hi.
Full disclosure, just in case we get a bit too in-jokey between us. Rose and me are related.
Yes.
Which we found out after about 4 years of joking about being related.
It's amazing. We were both tagged in, family members were tagged in the same old photograph of some older Samoan men.
Yeah.
and then, because my dad always, whenever your name came up or whatever in the context of comedy, he'd always be like, okay, so where are they from? Where are they from? And then kind of would like look off into the middle distance and sort of just kind of fade out. And I'm like, well, he's on his own journey there.
Yeah.
But then it turned out that our granddads are cousins, right?
Yeah. I think it's Whangapoa in Savai. Yeah.
So where Matafeo was from.
Oh, right.
That's my granddad.
Yeah, that's Pepe Nokise. That's my granddad. That's where he's from. Have you ever been?
No, never. I've never been to Samoa. Isn't it?
You've never been to Samoa?
No, because I'm the worst.
Absolutely, yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Now all the Samoans listening to this are going, I know it.
I know it. It's not my fault that my dad won't take me and looks off into the middle distance whenever he thinks about his past, okay?
Yeah, what happened?
I don't know, man. He's a mysterious dude.
My dad's a bit like that too. He just springs stuff on me. Are you because you're coming to the late 20s now, and I found that's when my dad, all the stories of Samoa, just like every time we catch up, it's just like, and I remember in Samoa.
My dad was born here, and so he's more into. He actually is a big fan of this podcast.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he does listen. He's pretty happy that I'm going to be on it. So I can't wait to censor myself for talking about my own dad. But my dad, he's born here, so his kind of stories are always more walking me around Ponsonby and being like, that's the house I was born in, that's the church that I went to, this is and then now it's all just middle class people living in villas that have I remember I was taking photos of him in lockdown. I was going for a distance walk with him around Ponsonby. He loves to talk about it's great. It takes me on a walking tour of basically the history of Ponsonby way back in the day.
Well, that's great.
Which is awesome.
That's like the history of Samoa in New Zealand. It's just walking around pointing at mansions going, hey, we used to live there.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's get into the chicken.
I really am hungry.
Talk about it because I know you're hungry.
I'm so hungry.
What are we eating, Rose Matafeo?
Okay. This is Sneaky Snacky.
Excellent.
It is from Lim Chow's food court in K Road. And I just discovered this. Full disclosure, I ate this last Saturday and I ate wings from here on Tuesday. So
#blessed.
And the crinkling sound you're hearing is gloves.
Got a glove.
Plastic gloves, because
it's always a good sign.
Yeah, because it's so basically the whole this is a donut fried chicken burger. So the fried chicken comes in a donut, which you can get glazed or unglazed. Thank goodness we got unglazed. Oh, this looks so good. Oh my God, I'm so happy. So you can get it glazed. I will say, when you get it glazed, it does look pretty. It's reminiscent of something, and I won't say what, but it's a full-on thing to watch someone eat it. But yeah.
Okay. All right, here we go.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
It's good, right?
That's all the flavours.
It's all the flavours. We've got pickles. We've got a dill mayo.
A little bit of a burn coming in there.
A little bit, but I think this is a Nashville hot. Oh my goodness. I'm so happy to be eating this. Oh my God.
Well, yeah, because we're both London-based.
Yeah. How are you going? How are you going now being back here? Isn't it bizarre?
It is bizarre.
It's fucking weird, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
It's at this time of year as well, because traditionally we're both gearing up for the big Fringe.
Oh my God. It's really strange to not have the structure of festivals, even though I wasn't even going to do the festivals really this year. I was going to go to them and like probably do stuff at them, and it's just bizarre to have that whole structure taken away from you.
Yeah, you don't sort of realize you've like, because we all were like, oh no, we travel the world and we do this, and it's like, actually there's quite a structure to what we do.
Totally.
This festival, that festival, the run up of gigs, the little weird open mic spots to figure out that last 5 minutes that holds the whole show together.
It's such a routine, and it's really dire what's going on up in London, because you know that like UK and London in particular is a very unique place to be able to do live comedy, more so than the US here, Australia, and that there's so many people. It's like a way bigger industry, and it's one that can support, you know, a circuit of comedians, unlike other countries, particularly here. And places are just closing. There's like so quickly, and
I think
they're never
there
going
was
to reopen.
a study that came out, was it 80% of live comedy in the UK was in danger from closing, and I feel I'm still reckoning with that.
Yeah.
What that means.
Totally.
Like, it's very. I mean, for our listeners to understand, the UK is the biggest live scene. I don't think that's hyperbole.
No, definitely.
And a lot of comedians over the years from all over the world have gone to the UK scene to become better at stand-up. If nothing else, even if they don't make it, there's so much work there. You can just hone your craft.
So, I've got a mouthful of burger.
That's all right.
Trying to make a point.
This is the show.
A really serious point. It definitely is a place where I got much better at performing live than, you know, here. Much better.
It's very interesting to hear the 2018 winner of the Edinburgh Fringe Awards just casually say they got much better.
Oh, I got much better. Yeah. Well, I'm still shit. And also, I'm still shit here. Like, I did a gig the other day. It was like my first gig in like, 5 months? Yeah. And it wasn't terrible, but audiences are, every time I go from the UK back to here, is always a period of readjustment.
Yeah,
because the
same
audience.
for all this.
Yeah. But the audiences are just like, there is no doubt that the audiences are so much harder here.
Yeah.
Do you think so?
I think so. I think it's harder here, partly because we're Kiwis.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And there is that level of been overseas, mate.
Yeah. You know? And also like, no, I also think there's just a different energy, or maybe just on the whole, a different sense of humour. And I guess you're right in the sense that we are oddities to people in the UK because we are from New Zealand and we sound different, and we look, and everyone thinks that we are Middle Eastern because they don't know what Samoan is.
Absolutely.
And when you say you're from Samoa, they go, sorry, and I'm Samoa, and they're like, Samoa.
Yes.
I'm sorry, you mean Samoa. And I'm like, I don't think so, but thank you for correcting the way that I say the country that I am from. But it is. I think there is just a maybe, New Zealand's got that horrible cringe culture of the very idea or notion of a New Zealander trying to be funny is offensive to people, which is utterly bizarre, but that's changing, but that's fine. But
I honestly don't think Kiwis understand how big you are in the UK.
Even though I try and tell them every time in supermarkets, waiting in line for coffee, I'm huge overseas, guys. Yeah. What are you talking about? It's very sweet. Yeah, it's very sweet for you to say that. I wouldn't, to be honest, I wouldn't disagree with that in the kindest way and in the most self-deprecating way possible. You are
obviously.
Absolutely right.
No, but that's what I mean. It's like, I'm not trying to say it as like a massive compliment, more as a statement of fact. And I feel that there are New Zealand performers who are so much more appreciated and famous and recognized overseas.
Yeah.
Is it nice to come home to New Zealand
and for people to hate you and not know who you are?
hate you and just go, is she even Samoan?
Yeah.
It was I don't know, she's funny.
Incredibly humbling.
Is it?
It's incredibly humbling. To what you're saying about like the kind of boost of like, I don't know, just like the excitement of seeing someone who is from your country doing that kind of stuff. In such a strange way, I feel that about myself in a really detached way, and not in a way of going. It is almost a detached way of going, this is so exciting because I'm from New Zealand. Like, I find it entertaining. Yeah. So like, on the tube when I'd find like, there'd be like Taskmaster things on the tube. I'd be like, this is hilarious. This is ridiculous and surreal and shouldn't be happening because I am. Like, not from here. I'm just a little worm, and I've managed to weasel my way onto UK television. And I find it, and it was the same thing, with just all the Edinburgh stuff. I just found it really shocking and more surprising of the fact that people liked the stuff I was doing. And again, I had this problem with the other day. I was trying to explain this feeling, and a friend was like, "You're describing pride," and I'm like, "Oh, that's it. Oh, I understand what. This is pride, but it's pride to genuinely represent where you're from on that kind of, stage, the comedy stage, in the UK and stuff. So, I appreciate that. That's a cool thing, but I do find it really weird that I have more work in the UK than I'd have here, and that still to this day when I come back here, it's much like, I think more people know that I do comedy, but I don't think as many people like my comedy here as they do in England, which is bizarre. I don't know.
Is it? You're not still getting asked the question though.
What?
Are you still doing comedy?
Are you still doing comedy?
Are you still
doing? What are you up to?
What are you doing now?
What do you do? I do comedy. Yeah.
You overseas now? Is that where you are? Like,
I always get. So are you? No. It's more like, are you? You're living here? I'm like, no, I don't live here. I'm just. Oh, cool. How long have you been in London? 4 years. I've been away for 4 years. Has no one noticed? My family has noticed slightly. Friends always like, so how long are you up there for? Indefinitely. But then obviously that's changed now.
Eating fried chicken in the shower for the relatives you know and the ones you've just met.
Was it a planned visit coming back?
Here?
Yeah. Or like, because I was here for my parents' birthdays, and this lovely series as well.
But mainly the birthdays.
But mainly the birthdays.
No, ma'am. Okay, I'm going to take another bite and I'll explain what happened. I won't take another bite. So basically all of this kicked off. At the start of the year, I did a bunch of stuff. I managed to shoot my comedy special in a live venue in January when this definitely was around London, which is very interesting to think about in retrospect. But basically it got to March and I was just about to start filming the BBC series that I had written, and with my friend Alice Nedden, and we were on our way. So all this stuff was kind of happening. COVID was getting worse and worse. Boris Johnson was talking about herd immunity. I specifically remember him talking about herd immunity when I was in an Uber on the way to Magic Mike Live in Leicester Square, possibly the craziest place to go amidst the COVID threat, but I was like, I'm getting this in. I'm getting it in. And then I'm out. But we were on our way into do a read through with the whole cast, and we were a week out from shooting, and then we were on our way, and I was like, something's going to happen. And I got in that morning, and then the producer came out of a meeting and was like, okay, so a little change of plans. We are shifting all of the filming to October, and you are going to write a second series of the show, and so we could possibly do 2 series back to back. So the moment that happened, Alice booked her flight home, and I was kind of freaking out, being like, what should I do? And then the next day, as she was leaving to go get her plane, I booked a ticket. So I left about 24 hours after her. So essentially it went from me about to start a 6-week shoot for my sitcom in one day to 24 hours later, packing, drunk, crying on the bus on the way home, openly, getting home, drinking a whole bottle of red wine, packing incredibly poorly, and getting on a one-way flight back here to write the rest of the show, crying the whole way. And I've been here for 5 months now, and I'm heading back in August. But
can I have 2 questions.
Yes.
One, what were you crying over? What?
Good question.
Because there's a lot of things. I'm not asking as in like, why would you cry? I'm asking.
Crying over you.
There's so many things to cry over. What particularly were you crying over?
I was crying over, weirdly, not like the project stopping at all. Part of me was like, yeah, fuck it, because I am also incredibly nervous about being in something. And I was like, yep, that's fine. Whatever. Shit happens. I was more crying about, I think it was just intense anxiety about uncertainty and being on and it was the one-way ticketness of it. And like the fact that I genuinely have just been living out of a suitcase, very privileged to do so because it means that I've been able to travel and work everywhere, but I've been living out of a suitcase for like about 4 years. And I'd finally kind of settled in London, and I was like, cool, this is awesome. I've got this work, set out. I'm going to be here for at least a whole entire year without any interruptions of work and going back to New Zealand. And then it just immediately, completely, your entire thoughts about your career or your entire kind of vague plan of what you wanted to do or achieve just completely disappeared. And it was just like, I think it was just shock of being like, oh, I'm going to have to go home and live with my nan or with friends or with one suitcase of my stuff. And it was just really sad, and just like sad leaving friends up there, and now I'm going to have the exact same thing leaving here.
Yeah.
And I always found myself in a perpetual state of leaving somewhere. And it's such a horrible feeling. Like, it's good because it means that, you're with places with people you love and you, happy. But yeah, it's a real mind fuck, I think, with it. But I think that was what I was crying over. But I'm really only really happy when I'm doing stuff and making stuff and being active. And so as soon as you're in a situation where you've got nothing to look forward to, nothing to like work on, I just would I got so sad. And because I remember like genuinely staying up at night, being excited about the things that I could do like in the next 5 years, and just being really excited about all of these prospects and all this career stuff. And then I was like, oh, that's completely over, and that could potentially be completely over for me in my life, and I had to completely readjust in my mind because I catastrophize a lot, like completely. But then it was basically me just going, oh yeah, okay, well my life's over as I know it, and I'll never be a comedian again, so obviously I need to train in some other skill and maybe live with my family for a while and try and eke out, just live off the savings of what I've got so far and just have really small overheads and stuff. But that's fine, and hopefully I'll find meaning in something else. Like I probably, what actually makes me happy, what does make me happy is my friends, my family, and maybe I can try, find someone I love and settle down. And actually living in New Zealand isn't that bad. It's actually fine that I will not achieve any of the dreams that I wanted for myself since I was a teenager. That's absolutely fine, because really we're all going to die, and you could have been dead now. So really all of this is extra time. All of this is extra time because feasibly you could have died last week. And so anything you're experiencing now is a plus. So really you don't need to worry because your life feels over, and it is over in some sort of way. But, you can just become a farmer, and that's fine. And genuinely, like, that's what I think daily. Daily that goes through my head of going, like, I have abject despair about existing every day. And it's just like, just get used to it, really. Yeah, so yeah, I don't know. I think I have anxiety. Apparently a lot of people have told me that.
So you just like wake up, have your morning coffee, be like, all right, farmer or comedian?
Yeah.
Which route? What do we do?
Completely. Do you ever feel that though with comedy? Like, do you feel like...
Yeah.
Because it's not the most stable fucking thing, is it?
Well, I feel like I at least had a couple of waves during lockdown. And this is probably a side effect of growing up in the church.
Yeah.
Where I just went, well, it's funny, whenever, I don't know about you, whenever these moments happen, I always hear like my granddad's voice coming in and going, well, maybe this is time. Like my granddad's Rafiki or something. Well, maybe this is the sign to give up the comedy.
Oh my God.
I'm in Wellington. I'm walking around.
Yeah.
I've got to be a lawyer.
You've got to be a lawyer, yeah.
Oh, something. I don't think I could do that now.
I reckon you could possibly.
I'd just go back to drinking, I think.
Possibly, I don't know. Well, you know, my dad is basically like, my dad's so funny. Every time I see him, I'll tell him, you know, I'm heading back up. And I'm thinking, like, things are dire up there, Rose. Things are dire. Are you financially secure? You bought gold. You need to buy gold. You don't, and I told you years ago, you needed to invest in gold because gold is the only thing that's going to have value in the future. We are on the brink of the biggest recession that we've ever seen. This is not even like basically my dad is
Tongan.
yeah. It's like get the gold crown. Okay. He is incredibly just in the internet, and he's in the Matrix. No, he is. The thing is that he's got so many far out theories about stuff, borderlining on conspiracy theory. But the thing is, I wouldn't even say that because half of the time he is right. You know what I mean? Like, it's not wrong that I should have some gold.
Yeah.
But it's like, the way he goes about it, it's just like, I'm always like, stop telling me to buy gold, man.
I love the journey we've just gone on from you being like, yeah, you know, I'm not sure I'm really comfortable with my own pride to, there's no reason I shouldn't have gold.
No. No. What I'm saying, gold ain't that expensive. You just want a little bit of gold, a little nugget of gold, and then that will be, honestly, in the future, we'll be trading the gold. Gold will never devalue.
This is the mental health advice we bring to the people.
Buy gold. Good luck, though. Have to go on the dark web to get it. Go buy certificates. Buy some gold. I'm in the market for gold. If you have gold, let me know.
Eating fried chicken in the shower. Why drive and cry when you can shower and fry?
With your anxiety and with your fear, how are you with... You're having quite a run.
I'm having a run
of success.
Oh, right, I thought you meant of anxiety.
Your film trailer just came out.
Yeah. Oh, God, don't even talk to me about anxiety and that. I had genuinely, like, started having chest pains about that, and then the morning of, so nervous, so overwhelmed by that, and then drove around Auckland for half a day, alternating screaming and, like, crying.
Okay.
Because I was... Again, what we were saying about control, like to have something out there that is wonderful and it's going to be an amazing film. I haven't seen it. I can't bring myself to watch it.
You can't watch. That's all right.
Because I hadn't controlled every aspect of it, and that's something that stand-up really messes you up about. I think with other projects, and not to say that you can't collaborate with other people, and you know, because you do. I think you collaborate with so many other people when you do stand-up, but ultimately the product that you're creating is entirely in your control, and most of the time anyway. And so to kind of let go of that is such a mind fuck thing for me. And so I can't do it. Also, I hate my own parents at the moment, and I just couldn't even think of looking at myself in that trailer. But
well, I mean, look, I'm family bias, but you look great.
Thank you,
But you look great, like professionally. You look great as an actor, and that's not me. That's a lot of people.
Scary to be an actor, though. But I never properly act. You know what I felt, and I said this to my friend. I said this to Kura Forrester when she was like, "Oh, the trailer looks great," and she's in it, and I was like, oh, "Yes," but what I genuinely felt is, watching it, just seeing me do like dramatic acting, honestly, it was like, oh my God, what a fucking hard out. Like, oh, you think you are cool? Oh, you think you're actually cool and can do acting, and be like, that's embarrassing. And I was just terrified. I was like, everyone's going to think that. Everyone's going to go, oh my God, why is she trying to act? Even though like acting has been a thing that I would love to do and have done, all throughout doing comedy. But it's just a terrifying thing to be vulnerable in another state. You know what I mean? Like,
I know what you mean. Yeah.
It is a weird. It'd be like, No,
I felt the same way when we started this podcast.
Really?
When the first episodes dropped, I was like, I'm going to look like... I mean, I do look like an idiot, but the wrong kind of idiot. Do you always bully yourself with the voices of your 17-year-old contemporaries?
Yes. No, yes.
Because that was quite a high school drop-in that you did when you impersonated
Oh, yeah,
it.
completely. Yeah. That was it. I think most of any mental health things that I experience, being an anxiety or bouts of, just moments of the old, as I say, the old mild depresso, the old house MD, is a lot to do with being really hard on myself. And I say this time and time again because it's like, I think particularly comedy, it's like the way you get better is to better yourself, always competing with being better, a better version of who you are as a performer. So you have to be your own critic, and you have to critique yourself and your own work constantly. But when there's no one, when that voice gets bigger than the voice defending you, and then when that voice then seeps into other aspects of your brain that don't have anything to do with your performance and your work, that's like, it becomes this thing where it's like you fall into these patterns and habits of, whenever you have a good thought about yourself, constantly piggybacking that with a criticism or humbling kind of thought, or bringing you back down and going, no, it's not good enough, you need to be better than that. And then that just then starts kind of, you apply that to other aspects of your life, and then it just gets out of control to the point where you have like, it's hard to explain, like, I'm like, it's a compulsion to have the negative voice, like always. It almost feels good. Like that's a very strange thing, but it feels good to have a negative voice and like, I know that's the most fucked up thing of all time. And I think that's the problem, is undoing that kind of sort of compulsion to make yourself feel bad.
Is there a comfort in that?
I think there is a comfort in that, and maybe there's a comfort and the fact that, if I've got a bad voice and I'm feeling bad about myself, that means that I'm going to have to push through and prove it wrong, and which is like not always true, not always right. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you can't prove that wrong, because also there's also an assumption that any critique or negative thought or bad thought is a rational thought, when oftentimes it's an irrational thought. But because we kind of like connect cynicism and all of that stuff with almost this like, it's on the side of truth or being rational, you forget that those are not the ends of the spectrum. You know what I mean? Like so it's something I need to definitely control and be nicer to myself. If I was impartial to being me, if I wasn't me, I'd be furious at how I feel about myself. But
so you have issues with control, and you need to learn to control that.
Yes, exactly.
I see.
I mean, do you think that the solve to having issues with control is to let go of control? Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if that's the solve.
I think that's the cliche.
Yeah.
But I found, in my experience, it's more embracing collaboration.
Yeah.
Which I think is sort of what you do with your big collaborator is Alice Snedden.
Yes.
And so I think you're definitely on that pathway. It is, and of course you work with the Snort Improv.
Snort Improv. Yes.
So there's, I've had issues with control, and I remember back earlier in my career, it definitely affected my ability to work in other mediums.
Yes.
You know, like to write in theatre, things like this with radio. And yeah, so I don't think just let go, man. I don't know if that's a way. I'll ask our clinical psychologist, Sarah, to help.
Absolutely.
But I do think collaboration.
Yeah.
If it's not the pathway, then it definitely helps ease the internal tension.
Totally. Gives you another perspective. It gives you what would you call it? Perspective. That's it. I mean, even with death, like I've got massive death anxiety. I've had totally. I had a really bad, a couple of years ago, and it kind of fades in and out, but it's always present, and it's always like, it's just a constant thing. And I was talking to my friend Johnny about it, and he put it so perfectly because it's so true. He's like, death is unacceptable. It's unacceptable. It's just and it sounds so funny to say it, but it is unacceptable in the sense that it's how can you accept a state of being that isn't being, like that you can't fathom not existing, so therefore you can't imagine that, and that's the scary part of it. I mean, it's an uncertainty, isn't it? But it's like, because you can't accept the fact that you can't experience the opposite of living, because it's the opposite of living is a lack of experience, right?
Yeah.
That's what makes it so terrifying. And I've found no peace in any way of dealing with that kind of anxiety, because I don't necessarily believe in anything, existing beyond that. But I really wish there was. One thing I do think, I'm just so I've had such an amazing time doing comedy as a career and been so freaking blessed to have those opportunities that I did work for sure. But I just can't. It's awesome. But
do you
I think
the death anxiety fuels the work ethic?
100%. So this is my thing. I think is that I tie being in lockdown was really interesting. I was like, it just became so clear to me that I tie my entire the personal value system, or the way in which I value myself as a person, on capital. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's on capital, and it's on the amount of work you do, and then what you make, and how people take that.
Is that Rastafari teaching?
It is so opposite anti-capitalist vibe of my whole fucking family, And then I was like, fuck. Capitalism has done me one because I don't value myself at all beyond what I can make and do, albeit it's like in the arts, so it's pretty a little bit airy-fairy. But I just realized, I was like, the reason I feel shit about myself right now is I'm not making something and I'm not doing something, and I don't feel any value in myself as a person otherwise, because I think definitely family and friend relationships and traditional life kind of things have suffered because you've kind of followed a dream. And I think it is definitely a sacrifice to go to try and do career stuff and to travel so much and be alone so much of the time and work really hard to do stuff in comedy. You 100% sacrifice being around your family, being far away from your family, having relationships, having the idea of having a family. Like for me, I'm like, I have no interest in having a child because I enjoy what I do, and I don't want to be a subpar, not subpar, but not like the, not the mum that I would, possibly want to be, because I would have to sacrifice something else that I love. Although that's a whole nother thing, in that I think it's cool for women not to have children a lot of the time. Yeah, I think we need more role models like that. but yeah, I think you definitely do sacrifice. You
don't have to whisper that one to me. I'm not going to pull an older cousin thing. What are you talking about? A child is a sacred thing. You must.
It's like that. That's the voice in my head. You got your uncle, and I've got my mum being like, "Are you sure?"
You'd be such a great mum.
You'd be such a great mum.
You're so caring.
You don't say no. Don't say never. Never say never. She was like the ages in which she had my oldest brother at 21, and so she had me at 28, and I was her last baby, and it was so funny. The ages keep getting just a little bit older every time.
Yeah.
So when I was young, she was like 26. Have your first one 26. Fine. Absolutely great. And then it's getting older and older, being like, 28's fine as well. 28's fine. Now she's just given up. She's like, do what you want. Who cares? I don't really mind. I know part of me was scared for when the biology of my body perhaps is kind of tricks me into wanting kids. You know, will happen in a couple of years, and I need to really kind of just work against it. I really do. I like, doing crafts,
Yeah? Is that your vibe?
Yeah, I just like my hobbies. I like doing my thing. And ultimately, if tomorrow, if I touch wood, died tomorrow, a regret would not have been not having kids.
Yeah.
So, But I've done a lot of stuff already.
What kind of crafts do you do?
I do crochet. I do a little bit of embroidery. I'm trying to get back into sewing.
Oh, you'd be such a good mum.
I'd be such a good mum. I know. That's the irony. I actually would be a very good mum.
Nah, you'll be a solid auntie.
I know. This is
You'll be a solid auntie, man.
I've got a niece now, and I love her, and I love her. She's the cutest little baby, and I love her. But I don't feel a maternal instinct with her. But I feel a strong auntie instinct with her, and that I was like, oh my God, we can go on holiday when she's older. She can just come and stay with me, and I can be like the cool auntie, and who will be like basically like, she'll come to me when she doesn't want to talk to her stupid parents about something. And I was like, that is it. And then I got a haircut the week after, and I got an auntie haircut. I was like, it's all falling into place. It was like this kind of short 80s, very aunties haircut.
Amazing.
And I was like, look, it was meant to be. God wanted this. Thank you.
We ask this of every single guest in the shower, and that is there anything else you would like to share in the shower?
Oh, that's so sweet. I'd like to share that first of all, I'm sorry. I don't know if I've been very good conversation today.
You've been great.
I don't know. I think I ramble on too much, and I get really self-conscious about that. So apologies. I'd like to share an apology about that. And
Rose has anxiety, in case anyone's wondering.
I'd like to share that actually, because I don't know. I didn't know what having anxiety was, and I will say this: having parents that I say have had a myriad of mental health issues and have never addressed them and have repressed them due to the generation they grew up with, the society they grew up with, the culture they grew up in, particularly in fucking, so I'd like to share this stupid thing. I was looking for a therapist. I went to this therapist that I found on the internet. I was in the waiting room, and she came out and she went, oh, you were taller than what I thought you'd be. And I was like, what? And she's like, and then the receptionist was like, how do you know how tall she is? And she went, she's on TV. And I was like, I'm not really, and the receptionist was like, what have you been on? I'm like, I'm not really on TV much in New Zealand. And she's like, no, she's on TV all the time. Come on in. Then she proceeded to recommend the the Headspace app and walks for me. And I was like, fuck this fucking bullshit. And then I realized every therapist I've seen has been a middle-aged white lady. And so then I looked into, therapists that were not that, were perhaps Polynesian, Pacific Island, or Māori. And there are just none. Yeah. And because they all kind of, go into different sectors. But I just think it's a real interesting and unfortunate thing that aspect of mental health is not catered to, even within Pākehā practitioners of therapy, an understanding of the cultural constructs around not being white, with mental health, to try and explain the background of my parents and my dad, all of that to someone who doesn't fundamentally understand it and just tries to put it into a European framework. Fucking sucks. And I hope that changes in this country, because I have anxiety apparently, and which has been well repressed and undiagnosed for many years, because I think people just don't cater to that. And so yeah, I'd like to share that gripe with mental health services in New Zealand. And in the UK, I'm fucked, because there's how are there any Samoans up there?
I know. I mean,
no one knows where it is, you know?
It's because you see them.
Yeah.
That's how you know there's
exactly.
You see it. Like when you see a Samoan in the UK,
it's amazing, right?
Like, Samoan, Tokelauan, Tongan. Like I have been on Regent Street during the Christmas rush, which, if you don't know, listeners, is busy as hell. It's like a million people on one street. Yeah. And I was walking along, and I heard, like, I don't know how I heard it over the buses. I heard a shh. And I like, to the point where I just went, nah, it can't be. And I looked up and I looked across the road, and there's these two Samoan guys with like big ass bags. I don't know what they did for a job, but I wish I knew, because they were rich as hell. With big ass bags, and they just saw me like, hey, what's up, hey?
Oh my god!
Hey, how's it going? So hi.
That's so good. I fucking love that. And that has happened to me in Edinburgh as well. I remember I was living above the fish and chip shop over in Newtown. Yeah. You know, the purple one? Have you been there one? Yeah. And just like, it's so funny when you walk past someone, because you can tell, you know, like the Samoan uncle, like face and build, like when you walk past, and you're just like slowly eyeing each other up, just going, do we know each other?
I actually went to school with, because I know the Samoans in Edinburgh, because I'm up there all the time. I went to school with one of them.
Oh, really?
Which was hilarious.
Oh, my God.
It's one thing when you know the Samoans, another when you actually went to school in the hut. Next time we're in Edinburgh, I'll totally take it, because they do cookouts.
That's so good.
And all the Pacific art, they get all the Pacific artists round.
That's sick.
We'll get you in, man.
Oh, please get me in there. I'm the whitest Samoan you've ever met, so I need to, get in there.
I'll talk on that point you made, not to get too cultural, but I'll acknowledge what am I, 10 years older than you?
Yeah.
About that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What, how old are you?
38.
Yeah, 10 years. 10
Yeah, 10, yeah. All the senior Pacific professionals I know in mental health, PhDs, experts in their field, are not practitioners, clinical practitioners. They are consultants. They are working in building the structures. They're doing all the development. But on the groundwork, you're absolutely right, 100%. It's very hard to find Pacific professionals. It's a little bit, and I will stress, a little bit easier for Maori. As it should be in their own country.
100%.
But finding that Pacific voice. And when I needed counselling for alcohol, I was very lucky in that my counsellor was a very old Pakeha woman, but with Māori and Pacific family.
Yeah.
So while she wasn't of the culture, she was in the culture, and she had the framework, because that means so much.
Yeah, and it's not even necessarily like, it is. You're right. I mean, it's just that they're all in the more public health sector, and that's good, because they're kind of hopefully changing things from in a bigger level. But it's even just an understanding of just do a certificate, do a course list all the things that you specialize in on those websites. Yeah. Which are so many things. Just even an understanding of how things are different for when you're of a different culture, and just even ask questions about that is really interesting, and would be such a helpful, awesome thing for people to provide. But hopefully that's something that changes. But yeah, man, I'm just sick of telling these white ladies my problems and them not understanding most of them. And look, don't get me wrong, I've got a lot of white ladies in my family,
Me too. But it's very hard when you're talking to a white therapist about how one of the issues is that you're pretty white.
Exactly.
And they're like, how is this a problem? And you're like, well, you've clearly never been called plastic in your life.
Exactly. I know. Fuck. I know. We've got to change this, man. We've got to do something about it.
Preach.
This podcast will do a lot of work, Hopefully the right people are listening. We'll be the face of it. The half Samoans who are like,
thank you for coming to half Samoan sermons.
And between us, we make a full Samoan. It's really exciting.
That's how it works. Yeah. Rose Matafeo, thank you so much for coming and sharing some awesome chicken in the shower.
Thank you so much for the chicken. It was delicious. I really appreciate the hospitality.
Appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
Eating Fried Chicken in the Shower is produced for RNZ by Charlie Bleakley of Fruit and Nut Productions. The engineer is Ronnie Powick. The executive producers are Justin Gregory and Tim Watkin. You can find this podcast however you just found this podcast. Or if you're listening on the radio, go to RNZ's podcast page and look for the chicken. If you're rating podcasts and you want to rate ours, give us 5 stars. Remember, more stars, more chicken. If you want to share your comfort food and your mental health safe space with me, then you can tweet me on @James Nokise. If you're experiencing mental health issues and you're in New Zealand, you can text 1737 or go to the RNZ fried chicken page and we'll have a list of different mental health practitioners that might be able to assist you. If because of the pandemic you're experiencing COVID-related mental health issues, you can go to www.health.govt.nz. Look for the COVID page and you'll be able to find mental health resources there. Stay safe. Paftai lava. Matua.